Hello everyone, my name is Tanay and today we're going to talk about the Bengal violence. Since the past 2 to 3 days, we are seeing a lot of visuals on how the post-poll violence in Bengal happened, and a lot of stories and posts are being shared around social media. After the election results were declared, violence happened allegedly between TMC and BJP workers. Around 14 people were killed in this violence, and BJP and opposition offices were set on fire, and a lot of people were injured. The situation was extremely tense in Bengal, and whoever is responsible for this violence should be caught and should be punished. There are no two thoughts about this. But in this whole process and emotion, we tend not to separate facts with fake news. You see various social media pages, like especially the Tatva India, who is just going on and on about the Bengal violence and how it is genocide, this, that. There is a lot of nonsense being put. I think you all might have come across it. So in this video, we are going to separate facts and fake news as much as possible. So what are the facts we know about the Bengal violence? 1. There was post-poll violence in Bengal between political parties. 2. 14 people were killed in this violence and not hundreds and hundreds. 14 people were killed. 3rd point. Both BJP and TMC claim that their workers lost their lives in this violence. 4th point. BJP and other opposition parties' offices were set on fire. 5th point. The attackers were mostly from TMC, and the ones who were being attacked were mostly from BJP and other opposition parties. BJP has tried to give a communal twist to this whole violence again. Like Muslims are attacking Hindus. But whoever says that this violence in Bengal is communal don't know Bengal at all. West Bengal is a party society, a system where political parties completely occupy the public space in rural Bengal, and older forms of social organization such as caste or land ownership take a back seat, which means that before family, before caste, religion, market, whatever it's there, party is the thing which is given most importance. People identify themselves with a party rather than a caste or a religion. And this party society was brought about by the left government. So let's get into the history of this a little. Like the rest of India, Bengal during independence had a feudal order in which the landlords were the center of the rural areas, which means that the landlords in the rural areas controlled everything. The people didn't own land, and Congress after independence wanted this trend to continue, wanted the landlords to have the similar power. But there was retaliation where Congress wanted the landlords to keep the property, but communists wanted this land to be distributed to the tillers. Congress used a lot of violence, including central forces, to stop this retaliation. But it failed. So the Congress fell and the left party came in power. So in other parts of the country, politicians used religion, caste to do appointments in places. But in Bengal, it was done on the basis of party affiliations. So in West Bengal, people were favored according to their party affiliations rather than religion or caste. The left front used this party society to create a lot of violence and seize farmlands for private corporations. And this was the time when Mamta started to rise. Even though the left fell in 2011, the party society did not. That still continued, which we are witnessing even now. So people are more close to their parties rather than caste or religion. So now the Trinamool is using violence in order to try and ensure the BJP is not in a position to challenge it in the near future. So calling this a communal violence is wrong. It's a political violence. Even BJP party president Dilip Ghosh played by the rules of party society. He openly threatened violence if his party came to power. And people who know West Bengal very well, they know political violence is extremely common in Bengal. Extremely common. Like it started with the Congress, where Congress used a lot of goons to suppress opposition parties. Like that was the left. And left, while coming to power, they increased their goons to combat the Congress. And then they came in power. Then they tried to stay in power and suppress the opposition. Then Mamta came with her political goons to combat the left. So this tradition of goons has been coming since many, many years. Thousands of people have died in political violence in Bengal. And in terms of political murders, West Bengal ranks number 1 in India. Now, since we have established this, let's come to some fake news being peddled on Instagram, Twitter and all these, especially by pages like the Tatva India and some other pages which are there. These people are calling it a genocide. How is a political rivalry a genocide? Do you know what even a genocide means? Genocide is the deliberate killing of a large number of people from a particular nation or ethnic group with the aim of destroying that nation or group. BJP is not an ethnic group. Neither is TMC. These are two political parties who are fighting against each other. This is not a genocide. This is a political rivalry, like gang wars. If gang wars happened, you don't call that a genocide. That's a gang war. This is political violence. Get that clear in your head. In this violence, people from various communities have got attacked. It's not just Hindus, like the BJP claims. The only pattern you will see at large is that the majority of the people attacking were the TMC people, and the majority of the people being attacked were BJP and the opposition parties. Not Hindu, Muslim. There is no sambandh of this, and it is just not TMC who does all the violence. Even BJP has been trying to set up the ground for violence since a very long time. Like Dilip Ghosh, he said that coward talk of forgiveness. If BJP workers do not take revenge on TMC, then people of Bengal will call them cowards. This he said in June 2020. And many more like these. I'll leave a link in the description where you can read the whole thing over there. And one more thing we must remember is that when this violence happened, the state administration is under control of the election commission, not the state government. Mamta is becoming the chief minister today when I'm recording this video. The violence happened 2 to 3 days back. Another claim which has been pushed around is that 2 BJP women were gang raped in this violence. Again, it's false. A superintendent of police who was appointed by the election commission verified this and said that this news was fake. And India Today faced a lot of backlash for publishing this news without verifying its source. If rape has happened, it's an extremely heinous crime. But politicizing it when it has not happened, it's absolutely disgusting. Rape is a very sensitive issue and it shouldn't be exploited in such a disgusting way. Another claim being put around by this Tatva India and all these other political parties is that only BJP leaders were killed. Again, this is false. The facts we know right now is that 3 TMC workers have been killed and 1 BJP supporter has been killed. BJP claims that 6 people of theirs have been killed. TMC claims 5 people have been killed. But we know for a fact that people from both the parties were killed. So all this, the Tatva India and all keep on posting this nonsense over there and try to prove some weird thing which hasn't happened. Avoid sharing these posts on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, because it unnecessarily creates communal disharmony for no apparent reason. Another post being shared a lot is this one. If you are staying outside Bengal, then I'm practically begging you to repost this. And the last image of it says, the national media is busy in COVID death porn. You think the national media is taking pleasure in COVID deaths and the people too? We are in the middle of a medical emergency where more than 2 lakh people have died and you are calling it COVID death porn. Like, disgusting. These pages should have a little shame. First of all, they post videos which are unverified and then even post old pictures like, kya hai ye? And sure, the Bengal violence needs coverage, but with facts and full picture, not with fake news. Kangana works on a different tangent altogether. She is calling for a genocide. She wants Modi to show his Virat Roop of early 2000s, the Gujarat riots. So basically she's accepting that Modi did the Gujarat riots. Nice. So after this tweet, her Twitter account was suspended permanently. I don't know where to go for entertainment now though. Other than all this, we see a lot of fake news being shared, like old photos or old videos or unrelated incidents are being connected to Bengal violence, which is not true. You'll see a couple of photos and videos which I'll put up here. You can see that a lot of them are old or they are unrelated to the Bengal violence. I'll leave a link in the description where you can check all these out and keep a tab of it. Whatever happened in Bengal was extremely wrong and the concerned parties should be punished. But we should have our facts right with such situations and not just go bonkers whenever you see such social media posts. Please avoid doing that. We are in the middle of a big health crisis right now. Please take care of yourself and focus on that too.